I've loaded some data from Price. Oh, I don't want that one. Actually, I want her Forest Service road data. Okay, so I've got some data from Price. Some of this I'm not really sure what it is, but we'll play with that a little bit. And I want to not mess up this my price data, so I'm going to create a new called Scratch, and then I'm going to set my environments. Oh, maybe I'll go ahead and do a feature data sets. See, if I were trying to be funny and wrote TOO, some of you would think I didn't know the difference and I'd hear about it, but mostly it was just to be funny, so I decided not to be funny. Okay, so here we go, Scratch 2, and of course funny is relative, isn't it? Because my relatives think I'm funny. All right, so I've got this going here. Okay, so my data should go into my Scratch, but I'm going to double check my environments here. And I'm going to set my workspace output as my output, and see, this is where stuff will go automatically without me setting it. So I'm going to go ahead and set everything here. My output coordinates I want to same as my input. All right, so I've got my thing set up, and then I can make if I want, I can make my default geodatabase there. And then the nice thing that happens if I save my, I don't want to save the map. Yeah, I'm not going to save it. Okay, so I've kind of got things set up. So I'm going to just do, let's look at this area of vegetation. Well, let's turn these things off. Here we go. So I have got snail elevation. So there's my elevation that snails apparently like. And there are my roads. But the elevation is really not a good one. It would be a good one for a clip. So here's my vegetation. Look at all the polygons in there, and then look at all of these different attributes I have. I've got cover type and stage and tree size and density and so many crown cover, stand structure, soil unit, lots and lots of attributes here. And I just want those, and I do not know what this is, but it's something. Oh, okay, it's land use, industrial, okay. So, land use code, that makes sense. So I'm going to intersect these two because I want to know what kind of vegetation is in my land use code. So you can see that my vegetation doesn't go up as far north as my land use code, but it does come all the way at the base. So I'm going to go ahead and do first an intersect. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, so I can do this two ways. I could do it geoprocessing here, or I can add the toolbox, and I just had it dock there. Analysis tools, overlay, and intersect. And then I chose to open up the help because I find help helpful. Okay, so I'm going to put in these two features, and if I use my drop down, it will point to it will show me the features that are in my table of contents. So I think I decided I wanted to intersect the land use code and the vegetation, and I don't care which order. This has nothing to do with cookie cutter or that. So I'm going to call this, that sounds good. Oh, I want to say what it's intersecting with, land use veg. So there's my vegetation. I'm going to choose, I didn't pay attention to what I was selecting, so we'll take a look, see if I can figure it out. Okay, so this is what I got. So remember, because I did an intersect, I only got the area where they overlap. So the land use code covers a larger region, but my output here was just that smaller section. I'm going to look at the attribute table here, and this has an object ID, and there we go. And I'm going to look at my vegetation. It has an object ID. And when I look at my land use vegetation code, now I've got an FID for the land use, and over here I have an FID somewhere over here. Yeah, there's an FID for the vegetation. So it took the OID and turned it into an FID, and then it created a new object ID. So I chose, must have chose to keep all when I did my intersect. So if I did that again, put those two in there, vegetation, land use, yeah, it did default to all. And let's say only the FID. And I'm going to call it 2. Okay. And so I just get the FID from one, the FID from the other, the shape area, shape length, and then the new OID. So I don't have any attribute information at all from that intersect. So a union, again, I'm going to do the union from here. And the union, I'm going to unionize. I'm going to join those two. And, oh, you know, I should have said intersect on that last name. Veg. Okay. I'm just going to say no FID. Here's where I could set my XY tolerances. And now I get all of the area, but where I have, there's going to be a lot of area. For instance, all of this was area that had no vegetation data with it. So I get a lot of null values. And then you can see down at the bottom here, I'm getting, these are kind of where my little slivers probably would have come in, where those two layers didn't overlay exactly, right? So they didn't line up exactly. So that would have been a great example for working with the slivers and the tolerances.